Hi there! Do you want to stand out in the world of audiobook narration? Then stick with me as I describe and demonstrate the 3 main voice techniques that will take your audiobook voiceover skills to the next level. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, these audiobook voice techniques will help you deliver a performance that brings stories to life. And stick with me to the end of the video as I reveal something else that helped me to stand out as a narrator with a delivery that is a little different from the majority. And please remember to click the like button for this video and to subscribe free of charge, of course, to my channel before you sign off, so that you get to hear about all of my videos on everything to do with audiobooks and audiobook narration. Now, when it comes to audiobook narration, having a standout voice can make all the difference. It's not just about reading words on a page, it's about bringing a story to life, captivating your audience and taking them on a journey that they'll never forget. And with so many talented narrators out there, including many professional stage, film, TV and radio actors, it's even more important to try to stand out from the crowd. One of the biggest challenges narrators face is monotony. You probably know the feeling when you're listening to an audiobook and the narrator's voice is just so flat and unengaging that you find yourself zoning out. This is a major issue because if your listeners aren't fully invested in the story, they're not going to keep coming back for more. And let's be real, who wants to be responsible for putting someone to sleep? Another common problem is a lack of engagement. This is when the narrator's voice doesn't convey the emotions and intensity of the story, leaving the listener feeling disconnected and disinterested. It's a bit like watching a movie with the sound turned off. You might get the gist of what's happening, but you're missing out on the full emotional impact. Perhaps the most frustrating issue of all is when a narrator's voice is just too predictable. You know, when every sentence sounds the same and the same rhythm and cadence, and you can almost predict exactly how they're going to deliver the next line. It's like listening to a robot. And it's a major turn-off for listeners, and it's one of the reasons that audiobooks produced using AI are not yet close to challenging real human narrators. So how do you avoid these common pitfalls and create a truly captivating audiobook experience? Well, the answer lies in you really getting immersed in the story and living the characters. You can only do that if you read the book in full before you start narrating, and creating a clear image in your mind of each character, their personality and their voice. Now, check out my video, How to Narrate and Produce an Audiobook in 6 Steps. Step 1, Preparation. I provided a link to it in the notes below. Once you are fully prepared, you will need to develop and deliver just 3 main voice techniques that will keep your listeners on the edge of their seats. Details of these are coming next. Get into the habit of doing these well, and you will gain the confidence to deal with almost any plot and character scenario. First technique, modulation. It's one of the most important techniques to master. This is the ability to change the tone and pitch of your voice to convey different moods and situations arising in a story. For example, if you're narrating a scene that's supposed to be sad, you'll want to use a softer, more mournful tone to bring out the emotional depth of the story. On the other hand, if you're narrating an action-packed scene, you'll want to use a more energetic and dynamic tone to keep the listener pumped up and excited. Pacing is another crucial technique to get right. This refers to the speed at which you deliver your lines, and it can make a huge difference in how engaged your listeners are. For example, if you're narrating a fast-paced action scene, you want to speed up your delivery to match the intensity of the action. On the other hand, if you're narrating a romantic scene, you might want to slow down and savour the emotions. The same goes for a complex piece with detailed descriptions that the listener will need to absorb. Number 3 is emotional delivery. It is perhaps the most impactful and important technique of all. And this is the ability to convey the emotions of the story through your voice and often the dialogue between characters, making the listener feel like they're right there in the drama of it all. For example, if you're narrating a scene where a character's angry, you'll want to use a strong, forceful tone to convey that anger. But if you're narrating a scene where the character is scared, you'll want to use a more tremulous, fearful tone and bring out the fear. But how easy is it to do that? Well, it is rarely easy to do, but if, as a narrator, you are fully immersed in the story, imagining each character as you play them and living the moments, then your emotions should naturally come out. You shouldn't need to force them. But for them to do so, you will need to ensure that you have read the story beforehand, as I said earlier, and that you have invested your own emotions in the story and the characters within it. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Whether you're just starting out as a narrator or if you're a seasoned pro, mastering these voice techniques is essential for creating a captivating audiobook experience. By incorporating modulation, pacing and emotional delivery into your toolkit, you'll be able to bring your stories to life in a way that will leave your listeners hungry for more. So finally, at the start of this video, I said that I would reveal something else that helped me to stand out as a narrator who is a little different from the majority. I have developed a strategy that enables me to conjure up hundreds or even thousands of unique character voices. Only a few narrators put effort into creating different voices for different characters. It carries some risk in that some listeners may like some voices but not others, but in my view it is a risk worth taking, as it helps listeners to differentiate between characters who engage in dialogue with each other, and it should make your reading more entertaining, as long as you don't overdo the voices to the point that they don't sound exaggerated and therefore unrealistic. You might get away with being over the top in fantasy, stories, horror or comedy, but you need to treat this skill with a little care when dealing with other genres. Take a look at my earlier 2 videos for my secret on how to deliver character voices. Firstly, how to create thousands of unique character voices, and number 2, the great audiobook debate, is character voice acting worth it? I provided the links to both of these videos in the notes below. Okay, well, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you learned something new today. If you have a favourite voice technique or tip to share, please leave it in the comments below. Also, if you have some questions you want to ask me. And if you want more tips on audiobook narration, be sure to check out my other videos. So that's it. Thanks for watching and see me again soon. Bye for now.